So I think theology certainly does not only happen in theological colleges. It happens anywhere and everywhere. It can happen in the church, in the pew, it can happen in home, it can happen out in the street, it can happen really any place where faith is lived out. Theology in some sense can happen. Faith can seek its own understanding, or faith can think, or faith can ask questions and seek answers in any situation whatsoever. So certainly theological colleges are not the only place where theology is done. So what does theology look like when it's being done, or are there steps? There's certainly many different ways to go about doing theology. Some people want to begin, say, with the Bible. Say theology always ought to begin with the Bible and is essentially a explicating or an unfolding of what the Bible has to say about any given topic. Other people would want to say that theology begins with the questions of our lives that we then bring, and theology's task is to use all different kinds of sources to answer questions that arise from all different kinds of sources of life. Other people would say theology arises from tradition, right? That tradition has a number of questions that have evolved over the centuries, and theology essentially works within these questions. So those are some of the different ways in which theology is done. I mean, the fancy word is method, theological method. How do you go about doing theology? I think that there's no one way that's the right way of doing theology. I think there's many, many ways, almost limitless ways of going about doing theology, or what theology can look like when it's being done. If I have anything to say about what it looks like when theology is being done, I might say something like, theology is being done when the status quo is being questioned and pushed. I think that's part of theology's most important job, is to ask critical questions and never to leave anything unquestioned. And I think that arises out of actually the very heart of the Christian gospel, that how you see Jesus bringing God to us in and through his life is pushing us to uncomfortable places and always questioning the status quo in the name of bringing God to us. So when theology is being done, in some sense, it's always in some way unsettling or pushing the boundaries, precisely so that we are in contact with God.